Ma'am, you're on mute. Can you
Ma'am,
please come?
request the mic is in mute, madam. We are not able to hear anything.
Oh, sorry. Okay. So the whole idea of this ITEP is that teachers, students come to become teachers by choice and not as a last resort, because we find in the current scenario this is what is happening largely. And the spirit of the NEP is that the position that the teachers had earlier in society, that should come back once again, and teaching should be established as the noblest of all professions. And in that endeavor, NCT is also taking up our various mandates so that we also fulfill all the spirit that is there in the NEP to produce teachers who are ready for the 21st century, but at the same time retaining all our traditional values, our traditional ethos, our tribal values, our Indian traditions, etc. We are also running we are also preparing the 2 year B.Ed program, the curriculum for that, the 1 year B.Ed program. And we have also started working on the 4 year uh, physical education program and the 4 year art education program. And apart from this, this year's budget mandated us to very important things. One of them is the National Professional Standard for Teachers, and the other one is the National Mission for Mentoring. And in our endeavor to achieve all these mandates, NCT has been working very hard. And in the light of this National Mission for Mentoring, there was a committee chaired by Dr. Roy, who was speaking earlier from NERI, and his committee members. Uh, in the month of April this year, we had opened on our website, a portal called the My NEP 2020, wherein we had solicited suggestions from our various stakeholders across the country on the National Mentoring Mission. And we were able to receive about 1,800 suggestions, some of them very constructive ones, which we could use to incorporate in our first draft document, which is out before you, which is the Blue Book on Mentoring. And through this document, we intend to find a solution to bridge the gaps that exist currently in the context of your peers, in your teaching profession, etc. And as already pointed out by all the various speakers before, mentoring is not exactly teaching. Mentoring is something slightly different. It is something like where you are going to develop not just the content knowledge, but having someone who will be there by you, probably discussing your career, CPD, etc., and someone who will be there as you for your friend philosopher, as a friend philosopher and a guide. And this National Mentoring Mission, initially we are making for the principals and the school leaders, because NEP understands that mentoring is not only for school children, which was the earlier concept. Now mentoring is also required for our teachers, for our teacher educators, because there are so many gaps. There is no centralized, there's no common platform in which you can share ideas, exchange, and probably also gain solutions to so many of the problems that you may be having. So this My NEP document, the Blue Book on Mentoring was taken out on 3rd November 2021. It's still there in our website. And I request all our stakeholders, all of you present here at least, to please give your suggestions, because for us, every suggestion is very valuable. Sometimes we realize that when we are making a document in the headquarters, a very small suggestion which you may think is innocuous, or initially which we may think as innocuous, when we start discussing that suggestion, we find that that is actually such a valid point that needs to be incorporated in our books. So every suggestion is, we look forward to every suggestion, because that is very important for us. Well, this Blue Book on Mentoring will be discussed in detail later, and already Vinay and all have pointed it out. It describes the 3 tiers of the National Mentoring Mission: the mentor, the mentee, and the administration. And in the future, as our chairperson has already pointed out, we also are working on creating a platform, a unified learning interface, a ULI, wherein all the aspects of the National Mentoring Mission, the how to choose the mentors, the mentees, what are the various fields in which mentors are required, or where mentees would want some mentoring in. All that will be there on our platform, and all this will be done online. Mentoring will be able to be conducted in maybe physical mode very rarely, but it will be on an online, a hybrid. It could be asynchronous, synchronous, etc. And in all these, while preparing all our documents and also in this National Mentoring Mission, our chairperson has been there all the time to guide us and lead us. And each time when we are working, his instructions or the things that he shares with us are some very valuable, because those are the tips and certain turning points in our documents we have received for him. So for that, I must really thank our chairperson, Sir Shri Santosh Sarangi. And apart from that, after coming to my last meeting, I also realized that we have such repository of knowledges here. Professor Ramesh Ghanta, discussions with him were so fruitful, and our own Dr. Shankar is there, and a couple of, I think, Professor Murthy, if I remember her name correctly, and Madam there, I don't remember her name, but of course I remember you as a thing. So, and we are very happy because each time in NCT, we are trying to find resource persons for our various things. And when we find that, and of course, sir, you are there also. And each time when we find such persons are there, it is really, it's really good for us, because then we understand that we can get, the insights and the suggestions from all parts of India, and that is very important for us. So thank you once again for joining, and I'm sorry we have to change the program. We were late, as well as we have to leave early, and but the flight schedules are such, and I didn't realize that the traffic is so bad in Hyderabad. So this is the reason. Thank you, and please do do participate actively in our session, and also please give your suggestions. Thank you to my team; they worked very hard. Thank you to the team of Sichalokam, Vinay, and this team. They have been very, very, because we have a series of 15 open houses for National Mentoring Mission and 15 for National Professional Stand for Teachers. And it is going on continuously for this month, and it will also go into next month. So we are, in this way, we are trying to reach every part of India as far as possible. So I have to really congratulate the team, because this is a lot of hard work and a lot of coordinating. And thank you once again to Osmania University for collaborating with us on this very important mission called the National Mission Mentoring, which is a very important initiative for all our stakeholders, especially our teachers, our teacher educators, principals, school leaders, etc. Thank you. Jai Hind.
And thank you so much, ma'am, for your wonderful address and giving us so many inputs related to this kind of things that are happening with NML. And now I take up this opportunity for going forward with the panel discussion. Before that, Ambedkar University also wants to felicitate Abhimanyu, sir. So, for a minute, sir, please. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Now we'll get into the panel discussion. We have Professor Ramkrishna sir as moderator, and we have panelists from various universities. Professor Mrinalini Madam from our own Department of Education, Osmania University. Professor M. Vanaja Garu from Department of Education and Training, Manu. Maulana Azad National Urdu University. We have Dr. A.V. Anuradha Garu from Department of Education, English and Foreign Languages University. I invite Dr. Madhusudan Joshi Garu from Department of Education and Education Training from Hyderabad Central University. Dr. Sonia Sani virtually is with us from Tata Institute of Social Sciences, Hyderabad. Mrs. Rama Devi, Principal, IASC, Government IASC, Hyderabad. And we have Dr. N. Upendra Reddy Garu, former Director, TS SCERT from Hyderabad. Now I hand over the session to Professor Ramkrishna sir to take up the proceedings. Thank you.
Thank you, Lalita. And today's session is on the mentoring. So for our country or for our civilization, it's not a new concept. And from the primitive man, we have been having this concept, not so structured like this, but unstructured, informal way. We have been mentoring the young. And now with the NCTE taking it up at the national level, when it has to reach to the grassroots level, it has to go in a mission mode. So that's the reason why the NDP 2020, when it has been envisaged, it has also come up with the national mission on mentoring. So with these few words, I request the panelists to just interact. And first I will request Professor Mrinalini to explain her experiences about the mentoring.
Good afternoon to all the dignitaries on the virtual platform and also offline in this hall. It's really a wonderful document to open up the sharing and discussion on the Blue Book. Like all of us know that as Professor Ramkrishna said, and right from the setting the agenda for this meeting by the chairperson Santosh Sarangi, and also in the last part of it, the valedictory part, which was preponed by Sharpa Madam, and apart from that, also the I think it is S.C. Roy, who spoke also about our ancient system. Partially, he mentioned about these things, but all through the document, though it is yet to read by number of times to really digest and give some kind of concrete suggestions or maybe alternates for the same. Of course, we have gone through this, and maybe a little bit of outlining part has been done by me, but I would definitely come out with a detailed kind of suggestive kind of things in the due course of time, because the paucity of the time. The whole concern of mine throughout this document is, when we look down for the references all through this document, they are all mentioned from the West. Hardly there are any mention from the indigenous models, like whether it is on a page number, I just opened it and kept for you. Finland model, though it is very popular, I'm not disputing about the popularity of Finland, which is very popular now, and everybody look forward for that. So this is on page number 34. They mentioned about the essential and buildable kind of things. They are definitely good and they are appreciable and other things. But let us reflect back and take some of the insights from our ancient models, which I was referring in the last meeting also. Sharma Madam and Abhimanyu said we have definitely taken care of every damn thing from our ancient model. There are people, stalwarts, who are taking care of this. So in this particular document, my whole concern throughout while reading was that. So how do I connect? Few things I mentioned. I will not get into the details. I would just like to mention, when they mentioned about the actors 3, whether it is actors or whatever nomenclature, we end up at the end of the document, finalization. But here I thought there should be one more angle apart from the mentor, mentee and administrators. There can be one more area where we can open up. They mentioned about the stakeholders, but these stakeholders, can we look into the enlistment of these stakeholders who can really scaffold this whole mentoring process. So there, I think we need to put little maybe thinking about it. I don't know whether it fits or not, but it has to be taken care of, because as our ancient tradition and family system, Roy also mentioned, Professor Roy also mentioned about it. The very family system starts with the informal mentoring process, and the neighborhood, everybody, this is a kind of a collective holistic mentoring process happened in our Indian culture. And apart from this, the ancient system of education, Guru, as Shankar was also mentioning, Guru itself is the Guru Kula itself is the family of the Guru. So that's how the very informal way of nurturing the child with all the required things. There when you talk about the whatever it is. So in my view, this characteristics when I mentioned it, basically mentoring requires between the two, mentor and mentee, a kind of a trust. And on the part of the mentor, whosoever is the mutual, there is a kind of exchange and interchange of mentor-mentee roles when we have seen in the video. Also is the fact in the modern times of technology. So there, I think we need to look at the part of the trust part of it. Mutual trust between the mentor and mentee would be the first and essential quality required between the two. Both of them should have that. And a mentor, especially whoever is mentoring, should have the integrity part of it, and kind of all those humanistic qualities. When we say character, conduct, and all these things, everything comes under the humanism and humanistic qualities. And apart from that, a very essential thing is the concern and affiliation for them. These are basically some of the characteristics. We can go on enlisting number of things. Apart from that, what we need to have first at the foremost thing is, after having that trust, acceptance of the mentor and mentee, both mutually acceptance. Once we accept, I think we open up to listen and hear to them. So this listening and listening keenly and patiently would happen. Then maybe there is a kind of reinforcement, positive reinforcement, motivation, encouragement, help, and all other support mechanisms would creep up or crop up, or rather according to the needs and requirements of the mentee. So like that, creating a kind of a fearless, conducive environment between the mentor and mentee. This is what is basically required, I feel. And apart from that, there is also a kind of enrollment, training of the mentors. A lot of discussions happened all through the document. Can we make it much more simple? This is my whole, heartfelt feeling. Can we make it very simple kind of things, where there would be two platforms, one at the national level, one at the local level or state level, and the people whoever are liking, let them enroll first. And once they get enrolled, then look at the kind of enrolled mentors who are willing, voluntarily coming forward. Could be a child of the same age group, could be a peer group child, could be anybody. It could be an artisan who would like to offer their skill. Whatever or whoever are willing, let us not keep any kind of entry point, essential requirements for a mentor. Once they come, maybe how do we make use of this kind of mentor about their expertise that they have. So this is the area I think we can focus much. And we would also know how many different kinds of people who are willing to mentor whether it is a child or a student or a peer group or a colleague, could be anybody. So we can open up this mentoring mission into a wider, channels, where this would become much more fruitful mentoring mission. This is how I look at, and we can go on like this. Each and every section we can take up and try to find what are the alternates. Why I'm saying about the ancient models, because the Guru took care of the mentoring right from the child enter the Gurukul till it leaves and becomes a holistic, fruitful individual personnel. So that is the kind of caring that was there, protection was there, support was there, academia was there. You take any dimension, there was a place in the Gurukul. And there was a peer tutoring happening there, monitorial system was happening there. So all these things will become a support mechanism in terms of mentoring process. So I would believe that teacher is the mentor. For me, teacher is the mentor, and teacher will play multiple roles. How do we enrich and empower the teacher as a mentor? That would be, I think, the best, finest solution we can find in this document. So with these few things, much more are there. I would write in detail all the things para-wise, and maybe from my side, my opinions I would share, because many panelists are waiting to share their very valuable suggestions. Thank you very much for giving me the opportunity.
Thank you, Mrinalini. So that's how the Mrinalini looks at the mentoring, right from the ancient times to the present one, and also about the structural support mechanisms for mentoring to happen in a right manner. So now we have, I would request Professor Vanaja Madam to give her opinion or experience about what would be the vision of this mentoring in education for the teachers or the educational leaders. Please go ahead.
Thank you, sir. At the outset, let me congratulate Osmania University and NCT for thinking of this demand as the Ramesh sir was saying something which we began and gave up quickly. So I'm happy that I have two mentors of mine here in this session. One is next to me and another is online. Without having a mentoring system, the two professors, Professor Padmanabhaya and Professor Gantaramesh, have been my mentors. And here there are some more whom I have been mentoring. All this has been done informally, but now it's time to start thinking about it formally. My vision, when I was just looking at the document, I thought this mentoring needs some more additions. Mentoring for whom? One, school children. For them to be mentored, I need teachers. And for teachers to be mentored, I need teacher educators. And for future teachers, the student teachers. So that means our mentoring program maybe begins with school children, but before that, we need to change our teacher education institution who will be grooming our teachers. So I think that link, I don't know if I have read it right, I didn't find it. Yeah, we have some system of mentorship, but really not the mentorship we are envisaging or feeling we must have. So all these four groups of people have to be mentored. And if we start a mentoring mission, what do we expect to do? So I would say we should think of first planning for it. So because well begun is half done. So successful planning so that the movement doesn't fizzle out. It should continue. It should become a movement, a national movement. So we need successful planning and we need to create an environment. So in talking in terms of a technology person, I would say we need to put a system in place. So what would be my inputs? What would be my inputs for mentoring? So I would just list few, whatever my mind has come across, whatever I thought about. So I would say it was the prior performance. So the input would be whoever is a mentor. What was that person's prior performance? That means, am I ready to be a mentor or I'm still at the stage of a teacher? So we need to first know those people, identify those who could be successfully mentored or become mentors. The second is the mutual motivation to be a mentor. All teachers cannot become mentors. We will find some who are not able to do. So motivation to become a mentor. Then we need familiarity with the system of mentorship. And then there is this mutual feeling that I can do something with the mentee. So motivation, commitment, these are my inputs. What would be the processes? My processes would include the psychological aspects. Just as we saw the video, I was not convinced that the way the video was put, where it was being pushed and pulled, most of us here were not convinced because we are not talking of an age where somebody is forced to do something. So mentoring should go away from that. So maybe the video should have shown a mutual way of discussion, talking, and then together now we decide, hold hand in hand and jump if there was a problem. So something like that where we have this support system. Then we need to think of role modeling. Yes, they talked about role modeling. And sometimes, yes, punishment is not the thing, negative experience are not the thing, but still we have to think of documenting negative. Then what would be my outputs? Then I would get some performance, some changes, attitudinal changes, and the motivation to go forward. And all this within an environment of we feeling. We are doing it together. And yes, mentor and mentee relationship is give and take. At times I'm the giver, at times I might be the taker.
So that whole environment of mentorship, which needs to be thought of. Yes, then we are again going back. I do agree with Mrinalini madam, not my classroom teaching of what we are doing. We need to go back to our ancient system where mentoring was there in a way. And I agree with Professor Vice Chancellor of Osmania University. PhD is a process where we do have some sort of mentoring, the research scholar and the teacher. So something like that has to percolate down to my higher education, to my teacher education, and then to school and children. So again, what is mentoring? Just I'll take another minute. So if I want children to be mentored, what is that mentoring? What do we need to do? First thing, we need to engage with them. We need to understand. We need to do need assessment with them. How we do it? What is the need the child needs? What are the assessment? And for all this, I think all of us need first a training. So for this to be put in place, we need to have for the teacher educators short-term programs, for the teachers some programs, and then only the mentoring mission will reach the required goals. Otherwise, we will have teachers who go and instruct, and then finally maybe we'll not end up with mentoring, but again coaching and teaching, and not really giving us the solutions. So this is what I just want to share with the few minutes I have. Thank you so much for listening to me. Thank you so much.
Most welcome, madam. Professor Vanija madam has expressed her views about the expectations of the teachers and education institutions, educational leaders, and she has pointed out the planning as the most important aspect with some other inputs, and then she has raised one important thing about the negative aspects. Negative aspects or any aspects will lead to consequences. We need not say about negative or positive, but any actions will lead to consequences based on the impact of the actions. The consequences will be either positive or negative. That's what we have studied in psychology. So this is the thing. And now I request Dr. Anuradha madam from IPRU to just share her views about the roles and the characteristics of the mentors and mentees. Yes.
Good afternoon. My salutations to people on the board and then people with us virtually. I am asked to talk about the characteristics of the mentor and the mentee and the roles actually. Before we say that there is an action and somebody to perform the action, what is the need for action? That is important to identify. When we look at the Blue Book, it's speaking about accessing expertise, CPD, that is continuous professional development, and then connecting with peers from similar contexts. This we are doing for years. Maybe in one way or the other, in one name or the other, we are doing it. But maybe the new thing that I found and what is needed today is that the creating a platform to leverage cross-learning. That is what is missing. I think this is the gap that we need to have between the old, the value system of, because when we speak about NEP, we say that we are going with Indian ethos. So Indian ethos, the Gurukula system, the teacher was also ready to learn. That's where you find that when you take Shankara as the Adi Guru, not Shankaracharya, Shankara as Adi Guru, he learned from his son. We get evidences for that. That means I am ready to learn from anybody. Keeping that as a backdrop and then going for the characteristics of mentors first. And again, when we look at the Blue Book, it says experiences, knowledge, expertise, inspiring. Inspiring comes in so many definitions of teachers. But two things I liked, maybe we have to concentrate more on now is, the first thing is being attentive. None of us, including me as a teacher, give attentiveness to our students, maybe because we are forced with time and then the objectives of what we go with and all. lots of attention has to be given when we say it is mentoring system, because the other person, when we say mentoring, it doesn't mean that we are mending somebody who does not know. We are taking somebody who knows it, and from there we are trying to maybe learn from each other and then develop both the sides. So attentiveness is a basic requirement both for mentors and mentees. And one more point that is given as a new point and which we have to concentrate upon is proactivity. This means you should be the first to jump if people are asked to jump. When we look at the treatise of Ramayana, where the qualities of Rama are given, 16 qualities are given as a leader. One quality is that he is a Purva Bhashi. Purva Bhashi is somebody who does not wait for the other person to speak. That means we all should shell down the ego system that's there. Maybe I'm a school teacher, maybe I'm a professor working in Central University, somebody at some place, mentor, mentee, all that. When the minds and hearts are free, mentoring takes place. And then all the other things given here, like reflection, facilitation, and then willingness to learn, which is very, very important, both the sides, because as I said, when we sit on a platform, even to this day, leave about mentoring, even when we are in the classroom, we know that when we start our journey as a teacher, the first year, the first day, to this year, after so many years of experience, we can say that every batch teaches us something. From every student, we get to know something. So this willingness to learn is very, very important. But time management, prioritization, all these are very, very important, keeping in the new managerial roles. But value system is very, very important, which is missing, I believe. When it comes to the characteristics of the students or the mentees, that also lists certain aspects like motivated, energized, committed, constructive, attentive, experienced, courageous. But what about the basic moral values? I'm not bringing in any religion here, but as a human values, if we do not have them, as teachers, maybe we are erring. The students are also not catching up what is needed to be, and the sort of students we were, and I don't say we are very committed, but there is a huge gap. They know much, the present generation knows much more than what we know, but there is something which is coming in as a hindrance. Maybe I think lots of inputs have to be given based on the value system which has to be developed. And Mrinalini, while speaking, she said that trust is a very important point. When we look at the Webster dictionary for the definition of a mentor, it says a wise and trusted person, counselor, it says, a wise and trusted counselor. The trust word she has already given. Another word that's given is influential senior. What is this influence? While having a discussion in the morning in the class of basics in education, one of the students raised the point that, ma'am, even you say that there are certain norms that we need to follow in the society and all. If the elders are giving wrong suggestions time and again, recurrently, do we need to accept it? So we need to look at this point of influence. How does a person get influenced? Either by me, or how do I get influenced by the other person? So what sort of qualities of head and heart should be there to get influenced? It's not just communication skills. It's not just knowing. It's not just having lots of experience, but maybe how I give it to the other person, along with that knowledge and expertise, the human value that is needed to make somebody a mentor or a mentee. Because any stage, if we are working with conscience, definitely we can do wonders. That comes only through proper value system. I felt that is somewhere missing in the book. Thank you.
Most welcome, madam. Okay, thank you, Anuradha, madam. And you have stressed on the aspects of value system and other aspects. Just we'll have a small pause. Madam and Abhimanyu sir would like to leave the hall because they have flight.
Professor Nalini, Professor Vanija, and Dr. Anuradha. I mean, I wish I could have stayed on, because this is exactly the type of panel discussion that we should be having. And what I've seen is that actually you're commenting on the blue book and what changes or what we need to incorporate. And that is what we are actually looking at. Because if we will just give a general talk on mentoring and all that, we are hearing in everywhere. But concrete suggestions, which we are getting from here, I mean, this is really, this is what actually we are looking forward for. Anyway, but we have the recording, so we can go through it. And I would request all of you who are giving such concrete suggestions, please do mail it to us, whatever you are saying. And I just want to say that this particular mentoring mission, Professor Mrinalini was saying, initially we'll be launching it in 25 of our central institutions as a pilot. And we will be giving the draft to the states as a guideline. It's not being enforced anywhere. And they can come up with their, later on when we come up with our platform, that platform which we are talking about, the ULI, they can opt to join us or take cues. That is optional. We are not enforcing anything on any of the states. And one more point which regarding the references of the European authors and all that, that we will definitely have a look at. And Madam, you were saying that, that we also, there are all the four teachers, teacher educators, principals, schooling, all should be taken. You're very right, because students also. And initially, because it's running at a pilot, we want to first see it, because when we are pushing a policy countrywide, we need to see whether it's going to work and then make changes. So initially, we'll only be using it for principals and school leaders. And thereafter, it would be to cover everyone. This is going to be our endeavor in the coming years. And thank you, ma'am. Yours also very insightful regarding the value systems that you talked about. We'll definitely look into that. And I honestly really, wish I could have stayed back, because this is exactly what we are looking for. And Hyderabad never fails to inspire us and surprise us. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yes, welcome back to the panel discussion. In another 10 minutes, we'll culminate the panel discussion. Dr. Madhusudan Joshi, are you on the online?
Yes, sir. Thank you so much,
Yes.
sir. Namaste to all.
Madhusudan, I request you to say, just now, madam spoke about the ULI, Unified Learning Interface, and other aspects. So now I request you to throw some light on the infrastructure that is needed for the National Mission on Mentoring. Please go ahead.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, sir. First of all, my apologies. I had to come out of the room. I was sitting back there, but due to some emergency, I had to come out. But anyway, I tried my level best to manage to join back. First of all, I appreciate the effort that has been being taken up, especially with respect to the National Mentoring Mission, when we are talking about the blue book that we have. And thank you so much, sir, because I've been asked to speak specifically about national mentoring infrastructure at national level. And I have a time of about around 2 to 3 minutes. But what I've done is I have made few observations and points also. I will be passing on to Professor Ramkrishna sir as well as Mr. Abhimanyu Yadav. I have two basic observations on basically on the book, actually, the blue book that we are talking about. Number one is the very interesting part of the book that I'm looking at is the common myths that we come across when we are talking about such an important issue. And very well listed myths are there. But one of the very interesting myths that I have come across is when we talk about mentoring is, I'm reading the line from the book, a mentoring relationship needs to be in person. This mindset has to be changed. And especially when we are going for upscaling, and when we want to go for all, and when we want to have for everyone, and the document further very well notes it in its design principles. There are several principles that have been very well articulated. I take attention of the house to the two most important that connect to the infrastructure building. One is the decentralized and the distributed aspect of the mentoring process, plus scalable and resilient. If we have to have the scalable and resilient, nothing but technology comes to our rescue. And document, I thought, very well noted down the potential of the technology, how technology, both the synchronous and asynchronous methods, are going to be very powerful and very useful when it comes to mentoring at larger scale. So this is one aspect of the blue book that I observed. Another small observation of mine is that especially I take your attention to the bibliography and the references that have been given here, particularly serial number 5. Bly's references comes from the medical education, wherein lot of research has been conducted within our own educational systems, especially on the teacher attrition. And you see, the inputs are coming from non-education background people, very welcome, but still a lot of scope for all of us to rethink and rework on our own educational systems and why teacher attrition. And for example, our own field of study suggests us in terms of why we have teacher attrition, why we see teachers drop out, or even if they stay on the education system, may not be performing that much as they are supposed to be. Like for example, survival analysis studies have been conducted, and factors influencing these teacher attrition have been conducted. Teacher working conditions to a great extent are the major players in this aspect, and teacher perception and towards retention kind of thing. So in this aspect, the document has very well taken the example, cited very well example from medical education, how they have tried to address this issue, and that has got a very good lesson. But what I wanted to say is, like, we have a lot of such studies that point to the fact that there is a hand holding in terms of mentoring at various stages in a teacher's career. So that aspect has been very well taken by the document. I have a last point. This point relates to the meta-analysis that has been given in the book of document, that is serial number 8. This meta-analysis relates to year 2008. And after reading this book, I got very much impressed. But still, we have few studies. But to see the recent years like 2018, 19, and even 20, even 21, there are a lot of studies that have been conducted on various components, various dimensions of mentoring. They will suggest us what are the areas and how we can build a scalable, local level mentoring process that is being at school level or institute level or individual level to a national level. We need to do a little bit more work in emphasizing the recent inputs that are coming as evidence based to our document that is going to be finalized. I thought with that inputs, I thought these are initial observations. I have few more, and I will be, as I told, I will be passing on these inputs to the organizers, and I thank the organizers for giving me this opportunity, and thank you once again.
Most welcome, Madhusudan Joshi, and you have stressed on and few examples and the instances from the Blue Book of Mentoring. And I now request Dr. Sonia to share her views about the different elements of the mentoring program. Over to you, Sonia.
Thank you, sir. Good evening, everyone. So I'm trying to not repeat what has already been said, because I see that panelists are talking about similar things. And given the paucity of time, I'm also going to try and be brief. Important aspect, I do agree that this is a well thought through and an important thing to be doing. And we do need it. I've throughout my career as a student, as a young faculty, and moving on to now starting to move into the position where I can be mentoring the younger ones, do realize the importance of mentoring. And we've been doing it in a very informal way all this time. So it's a nice thing to see that there's an effort to try and formalize it. But one important thing that needs to be considered is, so the elements are talking about designing and planning, but it's such a short note on designing and planning. It's like barely a page. That's an important component. Till somebody doesn't know what needs to be done, what is the agenda, what are the objectives, how are they going to go on to design? So I think it's important to mention very clearly the aspects that should be covered in the mentoring. Like Professor Mrinalini said, holistic development is something that we are wanting to get to, but what all comprises holistic development? And look at it specifically from the Indian context. What do children in the Indian context need, or what do teachers in the Indian context need? Language is such an important barrier for almost everyone here in India. We're not studying in English, we are ending up teaching in English, or we are ending up moving into institutes of higher education which are focusing on English. So the aspects like these are important. Someone needs to know how to be able to move around in these environments that are new, socially new environments for them also. So there's no mention anywhere of what are the agendas of mentoring. To keep it vague doesn't really help. At least there should be some pointers to say that, okay, these are the main aspects, and yes, then you can, take it forward from here. Or look at the policies that we have within the Indian context, and the Blue Book nowhere is talking about the policies. Just the RTE is such an important thing. Inclusion is becoming such an important thing. And many a times I've seen teachers in school not know how to practice inclusion. But, and some of the things they say is that, yeah, we've not had experience, we don't know how to do it, and we don't have anybody who's going to tell us how to do it either. So even the ones who are going to be the mentors, are they prepared to do it? I don't see anywhere any mention of the kind of support that's going to be provided to mentors. We are taking it for granted that mentors will just have the skills. Not everything. Mentors will have skills based on their experience, yes, but a lot of aspects of policy also need to be picked up by the senior faculty, senior teachers in schools. So what is the kind of effort that's going to go in to be able to provide them with the skills to carry forward these practices? So these are some of the things I think that should be talked about, should be mentioned and focused on in the Blue Book. We can't just keep it open for people's interpretation. Some guidelines and some directions specifically need to be there. So yeah, more importantly, like we're talking about evaluation, we're talking about how it's going to be done, but we're not really like putting out what are the objectives and how these objectives should be then be practiced and implemented. I know like in our institute, we have a very simple system of a counseling center putting out notices at the beginning of a year, which asks for students to volunteer to be buddies to their freshers. And that seems to be working so well for us because the freshers coming in from school into the college environment, our laws don't know how to negotiate the various dynamics that are there, and having a buddy is something that's helping. There are such various models that are there within our Indian context which have not been picked up or have not been elaborated on in the Blue Book. And these examples which specifically focus on our context are important aspects. And I think they should also be picked up, thought through and elaborated on in the Blue Book as examples for people to then build on and take forward. I'll stop at that and would be happy to also like share my views via an email. But yeah, like not go further and let the other panelists also put in their views. Thank you.
Welcome, Sonia.
You have stressed on the designing and planning of the aspects, and also you have shared your experiences of your institute. And one important thing you have specified is on the buddy system. So until yesterday around 9 o'clock, 9 or 10 o'clock, we didn't thought of the direction for this panel discussion. Only at around 10 o'clock, I shared my views to the various panelists. And then my other colleague, Professor Mrinalini, we had a short chatting, and then thereby we have elaborated and shared ideas. And then we have come up with this kind of panel discussion. Otherwise, it would not have happened in this manner. And Madam was also, Member Secretary was appreciating this. I thank all the panelists for expressing. Unara? Acha, okay. Upendra Reddy sir? Unara sir? ఒకసారి చూడు అదే సార్ ఒకసారి చూస్తున్నాను ఒకసారి చూడు మెంబర్స్ లో చూడు మన లేదు అది సో we'll conclude the panel discussion, and I request the Vinay sir to continue with this question answer session of the National Mission on Mentoring program. Yes, over to you, Vinay sir.
Thank you, sir. I think just like Keshang ma'am mentioned, we had fantastic sort of feedback coming from the panelists. Definitely, I think there is a lot of work in terms of consolidation, and then looking through how can we also view about it in itself. But yes, like Sonia ma'am mentioned that, can we also talk about the capacity building aspect of the mentors who have been chosen? Where is the inclusivity aspect covered? So there are so many things that is definitely been mentioned, and we should definitely be looking at it. Okay, so there are a couple of things that we would like to cover, and then before we move on towards the closure of the session, one definitely is